better. Much better. Sorry, I'm teetotal. I really am teetotal, honest.
Was you drinking? Was it? Listen, I want to start the show tonight. We're going to get into Michael in a second. Not like that, but he's going to tell us a story about the energy company and what it's just cost him this week to keep his house warm. But first of all, I really want to thank Jason and all the Wake Up team, the site, the people that tune in. Thank you. It's Christmas. We're all going to have a nice time, hopefully, over Christmas. I want to thank you all for what you do, for how you dare to care, and that we take the time out of our lives to do these things so that we might just make mankind that little bit better. So I wanted to start with that. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to all the presenters on the Wake Up UK team and panel. You're all stars. Give yourself a pat on the back. And it's lovely to see you all. It's 9 o'clock. It's Thursday, and we're going to be rumbling on into this very chilly evening. So, Michael, why don't you get us started? Oh, before we start, I want you all to get pens and papers because I'm going to be giving you some info in a minute that if you can go to your council tax, your debt collectors, all your energy companies with 3 simple questions, and you're gonna knock them out of the park. So get some pens and papers. I'm going to be bringing that to you later on in tonight's show. But it's lovely to see you, Michael. I've got to say, you're looking as handsome as ever.
It is. Yes, well, you know, it's age. I'm aging well. I'm like an old cheese, I think. Or fine wine, whatever you want.
Fine wine, darling. Fine wine.
I was shocked. This, you know, I don't often get it at my age. I thought I'd seen it all, but I decided that to get my central heating working in my house. I've got a big 4-story, big 3-story house, and new build, very so everything's supposed to be an underfloor heating, the whole thing. And I spoke with Dave, who's the second best plumber in Kent, and he said, look, you know, it's really expensive to use this stuff, you know, so be careful. So I did a bit of research, or Maxine, my partner, she did a bit of research, and she said, under current circumstances, you're probably better off putting on your underfloor heating than using all these so-called money-saving contraptions. So, which I've bought about 4 different types, none of which work. These little ones heat your room 20 minutes. No, they don't. The blow heaters, very cheap to run. No, they're not. And also a freestanding oil one, which is absolutely so cost-effective. No, it isn't. And so I had all. So what I did was this week, I decided to heat the house up with these to find out just exactly what it would cost. So and then as I thought about this, I thought I'm going to put the heating on for 2 days as well. So as well as having the underfloor heating on, only on 21 degrees, not silly, just to take the chill off the house, you know, which is comfortable with that on. And then I went on Tuesday for a week to find out with E.ON what it actually cost me, and it was £167.50 for the week, just to do that. Now, yeah, there's only 2 of us living here. There's only 2 showers a day. Now we're all electric and everything else, and we got a couple of fridges, a fridge and fridge freezer, and I've got a wine cooler and a washing machine. And we only got the normal stuff. And I'm very careful about, like I listen to you, Dave, because you give me some good advice about, what things cost and everything else. And he really does, when you ask him, he really will give you some good advice. And so that's what it cost me. So if you equate that to over the course of a month, that's 650 quid a month just to heat your house. So now this week, what I've done is I've got rid of all those blow heaters and all the fan heaters and everything else, and I've just put on the heating, and I'm just seeing now what it costs, and I reckon it will be about 100 quid a week.
But see, this I don't get it. I seriously, is that your wee blue yet, Dave? Let's see what she's chatting about. I don't get that. I don't get that, Michael. I can't see the rationality in anybody paying £160 a week for electric. That's what's going on with these energy companies. Did you know? Right, there's they're advertising for dog handlers. These energy companies are advertising for dog handlers. Now, just to clear up this confusion, it's not to bring dogs to your house when the bailiffs turn up. It's so if you've got a dog and they have to come in, then their dog handler should hopefully contain and sort your dog out. But I mean, that's wrong in every sense to think they can just come in your house and touch your dog and do whatever. I mean, if they ever try to do that in my house, then they're going out fucking dead. I'm telling you now, that's what they're going to do. If they ever touch my fucking dogs, they're going out dead, right? So the point is this. What's going on with these energy companies? There's something majorly going on. Is it a mafia?
Well, Dave, the other way of looking at this is gas and oil cost a fortune. But half of what we're spending is supposed to be renewable energy. So it doesn't. We're not using oil or gas. I'm on renewable energy. So why am I paying the same rate as gas and oil? If it's cheaper and more cost-effective to use this green agenda, this green wonder fuel, if you like, why am I paying the same money as people use gas and oil? This is it's bullshit. And now the government up in Cumbria, as we know, are now going to start a new mine to mine coking coal to make steel, which is good. Now the green lot, of course, gone nuts. But they don't mind us importing it from other countries, costing us millions and millions of pounds a year. But what we can do, so save the country a lot of money, but because we got to go and start a mine up in Cumbria, which was where a lot of mining went on in the first place and ended about 30 years ago, because we got to do that, they're turning around and saying, oh no, we can't do that. We'd rather fucking give it to someone in Australia or America where they're digging up this stuff and shoveling it over here, okay, and we're paying millions for it, then we can produce our own. What's the point in that? How is it wrong with coal now that's clean coal, which doesn't produce hardly anything at all? It's absolutely bullshit. And I don't see
the logic. The door, Maxine saying, shut the door.
Take no note, she only lives here. But
Maxine, come in and slap him round the head. I want to see this on live camera. This would be fabulous.
She has got makeup on. I've got mine on, darling. But
she come out in a minute with a rolling pin and going to smack you around the head. Mike, do you know what, right? Most of your household waste, the stuff that goes in the black bin bags, that goes to power stations to be incinerated to produce power. We're paying in our waste, in what we produce, in our cardboard boxes, our plastic, we're paying for our own energy. Why are we paying these energy companies all these fortunes? I do not understand.
Hang on, I've got to go and shut that door. Won't be a second.
Shut that door. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give a big shout out to everyone in the Wake Up UK chat room tonight. We've got Sonia, Evening Dave, an awesome crew, Spear, Roy, how we all doing? Gutted I missed Billy. Billy Smith is a right old dude, and I see Billy having some cuddles with Stacey Wilkinson the other week, with the lady with the two big bazookas. Beautiful woman, Stacey Wilkinson. If she ever sees me, she's probably going to kick me square in the plums. But ayo, it is what it is. Sonia Yar says, Charlie, Mikey. Oh, she's giving it out tonight. Charles Ernest Spencer says, evening, Roy and Sonia. Charles says, hello, Spear Thrower. Here we go. And Spear Thrower's in the house saying, hello, Roy, Mike, Charles and Sonia. So We've got it all going on over in the Wake Up UK chat room, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get over there, if it's your first time viewing for tonight's show, get over to wakeupuk.net. You can join for free. You can join and interact. And you can also go and see all last week's shows and everybody else that's broadcasting out there on Wake Up. You can go and see their shows from months ago. They've had thousands and thousands of views. It's amazing. It really is. Michael, have you shut the door?
I have.
He shut the door, ladies and gentlemen. We're okay. We're good to go. So go secure.
I'm firmly ensconced here on my own, cast aside like some but like some poor sod that's got no mates. Only you, Dave. That's all I've got.
Oh, so touch me. You touched me there. I felt that. I did feel that.
Anyway, so so what a week. What a week. I mean, the Conservatives getting the kick in, the Labour Party making themselves look like a bunch of tussers. I mean, sucking up to the Scottish Nationalists now to form a coalition government to make us all feel, what's the point? You know, the Scots are going to run the country, run this into the ground. They hate the English. Jimmy Cranky.
Can we not just shut it all down, Mike? Can we not just shut the place down and let the business world just carry on as normal, doing what it's got to do?
Well, it shows you, Dave, how it's going along. Because in Germany, as we've all probably read, they've arrested about 30 or 40 people who were planning to overthrow the German government by force.
Good.
And yeah, this is like the neo-Nazis, like Hitler storming, from the beer can of Butch in 1920s. You know, they're with Himmler standing there with his flag, and then as soon as somebody fired a bullet, he'd gone, but took credit. He was always absolutely not right. Is he talking to you, Dave? Nice job.
No, he's talking about Stacey Wilkinson. There's this bird flying around. She's from West Country. She's got a very grimy accent, my lover, but she's got a fabulous pair of assets. And whenever I see her pop up on my TV screen, I'm like, oh, that's Field the Viewfinder. It's beautiful. She's lovely. And especially this time of year, because you can tell which is north and south. It's lovely, I'm telling you. Beautiful.
Does she sing sea shanties?
She does. I think she does, Mike. If she ever meets me, she's going to kick me square in the plums or probably beat me up.
I think she'll give you a caressed kick in the nuts. I think
it's winter, isn't it? It is winter.
Well, it's like being in cold water, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Michael.
Yeah.
As soon as you've had your haircut, you've reminded me. Have you heard about Rod Stewart's 11-year-old son's been taken to hospital for a cardiac arrest? Rushed to hospital. Rod Stewart, the singer. I don't want to talk about it. His son, bless his little heart, and I hope he's all right, has been rushed. Now, look, Mike, go back to when you was a kid and when I was younger. We obviously didn't know each other, but how many of your mates that you knocked about with ever had heart issues under the age of 10 or 11?
None. There
you go.
I have to say, Dave, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've probably lost about 11 friends. About 4 older than me, and 7 young. But a lot of them, 2 were shot by the police. 3 died in prison. So basically, but my just to let you know that my brother, my son-in-law, has you probably read about him on the news, has just been given 26 years for trying to import 45 million quid worth of drugs in a digger to Australia. It's all lies, absolute lies. Because you say, well, you would say that, why wouldn't you? But it is lies, because the police, the NCA, have fitted him up. They have made it. They said, we got him because of Bob the dog. Bob the dog is my daughter's dog. Bob, he's a little French poodle. And Danny had one of these phones. Like, if you come from where we come from, where we and Dave come from, like you can probably all say yourselves, we know people who aren't necessarily straight up. I've known gangsters, murderers, robbers, all kinds of people in my life. And I'm associated with it, and most of them are smashing. Absolute diamond guys. They got paid to kill people. That's what they did for a living. And people went out and robbed for a living. That's what they did. But that aside, take all that aside, you put me in a pub with your mates. They were sweet as pie. Bought the drinks. Never a problem. They were lovely guys. However, it doesn't seem that when you look at where we are and what we do, You know, where are we? You know, where are we at the moment? You know, with people dying like left, right, and centre. And like I said, so many people have gone from me. You know, it gets to the point. What's left? Do you know what? Am I making sense here? We're talking bollocks. You know, but it feels like, you know, it feels like sometimes as you get older, you've got so many people leaving you. You know, from whatever reasons, but you know, the people that we, like you were saying, Dave, you know, from where we are in South London, you know, it is a rough area, and you had to fight your way. You had to build your own, or to be swallowed up by it. You know, me and you know, we're fortunate we got out alive, but a lot of people I know didn't, and a lot of people I know recently. One of my friends died in Cyprus, and his ashes are being brought back here. And I'm going. Was going to go when his wife turns up with his ashes. I'm going to go up. I think it's Suffolk to scatter the ashes on Norfolk Broad, where he wants to go, where he was brought up as a kid. But there you go. It's just like, it's fucking awful, you know. But as you see, these people come and go. Anyway, yeah. Did you see that Dyson have brought out headphones and a mask that purifies your air? So when so rather than turn the radio on, you know, you can have these and wear this. It's like wearing half of a skid lid, you know, a crash helmet, but it's 950 quid.
Is that all? Sounds bargain.
Yeah, I was going to get you one for Christmas, but they'd run out. So I sent my mate who's an oyster. He went down as Nick one, you know. So there you go. But but you know, get back to what we're saying. It's getting a bit thin on the ground, people. You know, friends and that, and it really is. And I find it a little bit. It's
unbelievable, isn't it?
It'll be me at some point, you know. This comes to all of us. And also, I was reading. There's a woman who actually can speak to, you know, says she could speak to spirit. And you know, but my niece can, Nicola. She's a medium, and she actually goes in the house, or did used to go when she's not well now. It seems to have taken a toll on her. That's what I think. That she went into a house, and she went with a violent ghost, and went in there, and she was standing there arguing with this guy. And she was saying, "Don't you speak to me like that! I'm dead." And she started, and she eventually got it, and she got rid of it. But it took her, and brave, you know, to stand and argue with a ghost. And she could hear this guy. And I was sitting there going, "What's she doing this?" You know. But you know, it comes. Yeah, you're more like an iffy one, Paul. Actually, medium. Is that wishful thinking? 38 ways. Are you a bit fat around the old gut now, mate? Come on,
the Tiddy, you can't. No, the Tiddy Tidwell's. He's a smart fellow, the Tidwell. I'm telling you, he's been around a long time, Paul. The Tidwell. He's a love. Was that a glass of vino, Michael?
No, no, it isn't. It's
whilst you're salivating your lips over that glass, I want to give people some information. Hopefully you've got your pens and papers, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to write this down. I'm going to say it fast, but I'm going to go slowly. If you've got any problems with your councils, any of these so-called agents coming at you, ask them these 3 questions. Do whoever agree with me that we are all equal under the law? That's the first question. All right, write this down. Do whoever it is that's coming at you agree with me that we're all equal under the law? Hang on now, I'll add you in a second. Write that one down. The second question is, do you agree with me that we all stand under the acts, statutes, legislation of this country / state? And that second question is, do you agree with me that we all stand under acts, statutes, legislation of this country / state? And the third question is, do you or anyone who works within your organisation think that they are God over me? And send them the 7 Nolan principles of public life. Accountability is number 4. All right, that's where you got to go. And then once you get an answer to that question, which they can't answer that question, then send them an affidavit, because affidavits stand as truth and fact in law. Okay, you've got them then on them 3 questions. They can't answer them questions, and that should stop any of these bailiffs, councils coming to your front door? That third question is so powerful.
Dave, just reiterate the second one again.
The second question was, do you agree with me that we all stand under acts, statutes, legislation of this country/state? And the answer to that has got to be yes. And the answer to the first question has to be a yes. And the answer to the third question is got to be no, because there cannot be anyone in these things that can stand over you, be God over you. None of them, not at all. So these three questions, okay, there is something you can download online. The affidavit you can send is the Baron David Wald affidavit, because so many people have used it and it's unrebuttable. If you send them that, you've stuffed them. Anyway, let's bring Alan in. Here we go. He's been waiting in the back room.
Alan, I have to say to you, I saw you on your duty in Middlesbrough. So can you speak to us without that accent?
What accent?
Oh, that's better. You didn't pick up the accent from Middlesbrough.
Negative.
I'm
Northerner.
And I've got to say, your head looks brilliant. Honestly,
Thank you, love.
that cream I sent is working.
It's good stuff, isn't it? That cream we sent him.
It wasn't for your head.
All over.
It wasn't.
I ain't had a shower yet, so I might be a bit shiny from the fucking drive.
For those in the audience that don't know, Alan has just trialled a new shampoo for bald men, and it's called Shoulders. All right.
It's called Washing Fucked Off.
What's the point?
Yeah. And he gets in there and he slaps it all over and he comes out and he goes, I've done my hair. I'm lovely. Fabulous.
You know what I came on for is I'm just going to answer a question to what Mikey said. He made a really, really good point. We know about Maggie Thatcher, what she did to the coal industry. It was to teach the miners a lesson, and she virtually destroyed the coal industry in this country. But coming to what Mikey was saying, 44% higher increase in imports of coal last year has a bit of an effect on why they're going to write this coal field up in the north.
I cannot see how any government can argue if it saves the economy millions and millions of pounds.
That's what the idea of it is.
I mean,
the thing is, right? Can I just interject there, ladies and gentlemen? Let me just interject. If the government had any sort of brain, we know that solar power, right? Solar is a fabulous, fabulous thing. The sun is an engine. That's exactly what it is. Now, they're building all these power stations. Here's the kicker. And this can work. If people, because I'm just about early part of next year, I'm spending a fortune. I'm going to go completely off grid. I'm buying big batteries. They're all going to be banked up. I'm putting a special system in. Now, we then use that energy that we've stored in the day. We use that of a night time. If the government was to say, let's put loads of solar in, either in their own field with batteries or add an incentive to put it in people's homes, then that in itself would help bolster the energy crisis. Because yes, when the sun goes down, fine. But we, as the people that store all this energy in our battery banks of the night time, we can feed that power back into the grid so everyone else can use it. Now in Switzerland, there's a village in Switzerland that use all of these houses, about 50 houses. They've got a central massive bank of batteries. And each house has these inverters that catches the sun during the day. They use what they got to do, but the rest goes into these batteries. And they've got this massive generator that fires up every now and again when the sun's not doing what it's got to do in like a few days in the winter. Now, surely that's got to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, of course it has.
So why aren't we doing it? Why is there no one in government saying, let's whack people's solar systems in, give them free electric, all their roof space can become our national grid? Why not?
Dave,
you know that, Mikey, you know that I've got solar panels on my roof and I get about 17 pence. I don't get a lot. When it first came out, where the government were giving the incentive for people to have solar panels on their rooftops. They were giving them about 40 pence in the pound, right? Now, they reckon if they'd have carried on with that scheme and maintained it, we would now be exporting electricity to the rest of the fucking world.
There you go.
Well, just to bring it back to reality a bit, just because, you know, most of us less than mortals, not like you two super guys, you know, we only are the poor sods who aren't as clever as you two. I mean,
Okay.
The argument with me was always from the 70s into the 80s was we should be building more nuclear power stations. All the green lot, oh, we can't have nuclear, it's bad for the environment, everything else. But how many of them spent fucking fortunes sitting on beaches getting suntan from the biggest nuclear explosion that we're aware of, which is the sun? Okay, they don't mind sitting there going like this, taking the rays, which is really bad for you. But when you're going to build solar power stations, which is nuclear power stations, because if they built the nuclear power stations like they want to do, we wouldn't need solar, we wouldn't need wind. We'd have this beautiful land, free all these fucking edifices sitting there. Can I just finish this, Dave?
I'm going to go make a cup of tea. You carry on.
Yeah, he gets that bored easily, but. building these great big windmills that fit on the front of prams, right? Yeah. And to spin round, right? And then at the end of their lives, what do they do with them? They have to bury them because they can't recycle the blades. They can't recycle them. They're useless, and they just bury them all. So you've got these massive 40-foot blades all sitting in big holes in the ground because they can't do anything with them. Now, so how is that, and how much energy does it cost to produce those blades to save us what? To save the fucking planet. To save the planet from what? And from who? The man that produces 3% of the pollution on the planet into the atmosphere. Okay? Why is it all these so-called oh, we're going to have the waves are going to be over the top of the skyscrapers, going to tsunamis. It's going to be awful. Bahamas is going to go. All these islands in the Pacific are going to be underwater. Then why is all these millionaires are going out to these places, building big estates, which are 4 foot above sea level? But they're saying they're 10 foot. We're going to be 10 foot. It's bullshit. The biggest oceanographer under the UN was sacked because he came up with the fact that the oceans, the Southern Ocean, I think it was the Southern Ocean, was that much, had raised that much. It's bullshit. This green agenda is nonsense, and it's this world. We don't control this planet. This planet controls us, and it will get rid of us just as quick because we're a fucking cancer on it. All we're doing is take. We don't give nothing back to it. If we're kind to it, absolutely. By deforestation, all these people go, oh my God, we've had all these floods. Well, if you looked after the environment properly, if you looked after the woods and the trees and everything else about it, instead of mining it to death, finding other ways to find this, of recycling, all kinds of stuff, which I agree with. A friend of mine made himself millions of pounds recycling. And he's as thick as 2 short planks, but he could do it, anybody else can. And they wonder why all this, it's torrential rain. But we've had torrential rain forever. We've had sun. We've had. I mean, only 400 years ago, we had a mini ice age when the Thames was 3 foot thick. So
yeah, I remember skating on the Thames.
Well, you're that old. Of course, Charles II's your hero. But I mean, it really is incumbent on us to see the reality, not the bullshit governments pull out, like the WEF. We all know the fucking WEF only want to kill us all so they can all live in luxury with about 400 million people just to look after them, with 100 million of the elite just sitting there swallowing themselves going around their private jets. I mean, they all talk about saving but how many 50 jets, 50, 60, 200 jets were sitting there on the tarmac ready to take these people back to where they were? It's a fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's bollocks. And the sooner we get rid of these people, the better, because what are they doing? I mean, what do politicians do to us except spend our fucking money?
Yeah, good at doing that. Very good at doing that.
It's annoying. We all understand that we need people to work out the economies, to work out this and that and everything else. But, it's incumbent on us to see the realities of where we are. And now nurses, firemen, policemen, everybody all wants to go on strike. Now, Richie Sunak made a good point today, and I don't like him very much. He said, if we give them all what they want, it's going to cost us all £1,000 a year. And that's not us, that's them too. They're going to have to, because they're going to have to pay more taxes for everything else. Because if we give the nurses, the train drivers, 18%, they've been offered 8% over 2 years. Okay, whether that's enough or not, I don't know. The postmen, I think the postmen are badly done because I think they run for a bad company, and the post office should never have been nationalised anyway. Even though I believe in denationalisation, I think we should have a free market. But there are certain things like water, which is a God-given right. Water and the post should never have been nationalised. Never should never have gone into private hands. It's an absolute the Royal Mail and water. I mean, they're fundamentals to our life. I mean, as a kid, I remember the post office was everything. There was telephones, telegrams, it ran everything. You know, and but now it's all been split up, and it's going.
No. Well, Veolia run the Severn Trent Water.
Water.
Yeah, a French company running our water, right? You think they give a monkeys about the English? They're only in it for the money.
Of course they are. Just like the Germans.
What makes me laugh, when I used to work for Lincolnshire County Council, now, they privatised all their asset stripping, this, that and the other. They privatised all their service to be run by a company called Hyder Business Services, what will run out of Wells, the Welsh Wells, and they were making, in their first year, something like £11 million profit. Now, that was many moons ago. If a private company can come in and run public services with a profit of £11 million, why can't the council do it? And that money be put back into council services so we don't have the problems what we've got today. Because there's too many people that have lined their own pockets.
Well, that's what's happening with the post office. You know, but there's came on 8:30. It's just only a bad shepherd sleep the sheep get cold during winter. But also, I think it was Tiberius said something along the lines of a good shepherd shears his sheep, he doesn't skin them. You know, and that's a fact. And that's basically what we're being skinned at the moment because everybody's holding their hand. Oh, you know, I mean, what about like you, Dave? I don't earn any money now. You know, what I get, I have to sort of duck and dive to get a bit of money. Dave, right. you know, I mean, you're a mole catcher. You know, that's what you do. You know, that's what you do. But Dave, you know, he's one of the best plumbers I've ever seen on the planet. Just fabulous. You know, got imagination. He's dedicated, and he charges the money that you expect him to pay. Yeah. A guy who comes from London, like in his Maserati, sit down. Dave comes out in his little mower and his bag of tools and does a fucking brilliant job for you. You know, and he charges.
It's funny you should say that, because I said to a woman, I'm thinking about retiring, packing it all in, and I do a garden. It's got a huge garden. I charge you 40 quid. I charge you 40 quid for doing a garden. Because I said I was going to jack it in and move away until the house and so on and so forth, she's been getting quotes from other people. Well, other people come in and say, well, I will charge you £80. So they're double what I am.
Well, the thing is, Alan, it's all very well you to say, I'm going to give up. What would you do? And like all of us, I mean, I've retired, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck? All day I'm sitting there thinking, after Christmas, I've got an opportunity to do something, which I'll talk about another time. But I cannot wait to find something to do, because at 71, I don't feel 71. You know, I need something. I've worked all my life. I ran my own business. I've run 2 businesses, big businesses, and made a colossal amount of money. Spent all of it, but I had a great time doing it. But I did that for nothing. Took these companies from piece of paper and pencil and built them up and made them fortunes. And we made a lot of money. Okay, that was great.
You did good. You did good. What you did a brilliant job of it. I actually think I know your company when you used to work, because I used to cap there myself. So I knew of your company.
Yeah, when as I've now got to 71, everybody says to me, well, you know, you're fucked, mate. You cannot, it's like you say to your parents. My mum and dad, I say to my mum in particular, I said, my mum was brought up during the war, and I say to her, you know, all those memories you got, mum, I said, you know, you got, and she used to talk about, you know, the doodle bugs coming over. I know my Auntie Hetty running down Deptford High Street, and you had to run towards them. They used to say, if the doodle bug coming over this way, you ran towards it. You didn't run away from it because it was going to go up. And you ran to, my dad being Messerschmitt trying to machine gun my dad, and my dad was in the corner in Tanner's Hill in Deptford, Dave, Tanner's Hill, protecting a small kid while this bullets was bouncing off around him. while this Messerschmitt was over machine gunning people, and the bullets were bouncing around, and my dad just and the little girl and let him go. My dad was a fucking hero.
Yeah.
To do that, you know. But that's what it's not. He wasn't a hero. That's what people did. You know, he didn't turn around and go, "Oh, look at me, I need a medal." He just turned around and went home because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, not now. Everyone's an accolade, wants to be a telly star. Everybody thinks because they're on TV. I've been on fucking TV. You know.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been on TV. You know, I've been on TV. I've been.
That was Crime Watch, though, Michael, wasn't it?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Most wanted.
It was Police 5 actually keeping pills. You know.
Most wanted. Most wanted. Fucking most wanted, David.
But it is.
But you're bang on. I hear what I was listening to what you were saying, and I thought I'd jump in because I was saying the increase in coal in 1 year is 44% than last year. 44% to me is a lot, right? When you're talking about action statute law, when Dave was talking about that, it's a law unto one person and one person only, themselves.
Yeah, of course.
Because it suits them better than it suits us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Look at today, right? Take today. Very cold. I've been out working today.
Yeah.
The sun was not too bad today. I could have got quite a few kilowatt hours of sun in today, stored that into the battery, fed that out into the grid. So we're not then relying on all these fossil fuels. We could make oil from hemp. If we grew field to field of hemp, we could make houses, clothes, cars, oils from hemp. It's the most versatile plant we've ever been gifted, but we're not allowed to because government say we can't. No, we're not having it. So government is all about destruction, scarcity, and they're a criminal enterprise.
The thing is, Jeremy Clarkson's got this diddly squat farm up in the Cotswolds. He's got 1,000 acres, which is a lot of ground. That's 1,000 football pitches, basically. That's a huge amount of ground, right? And he was, last time I watched, they was sowing wheat and growing wheat and through the fields, right, and doing all kinds of stuff. Now he was saying that he got a certain amount of money per acre, you know, from the government.
Yeah.
They're cutting that down bit by bit by bit and telling him not to produce any food. I mean,
the great scenario, Mikey, in that is this: if you've got a glass jar and it's full of sweeties, if you keep putting your fucking hand in that jar with sweeties and keep picking away, there'll be no fucking sweeties left. And for years and years and years, that's exactly what they fucking done.
Yeah, but the thing is, you take like
layman's terms.
Two things are happening in America. Bill Gates is buying up all the agricultural land he can find, right? The Chinese are buying up all the ground around the missile sites in America. And the Americans, although they're cottoned onto it, they're not doing much about it. Okay? Now, that to me suggests two things. That every government is in fucking collusion to get rid of a lot of people. Because if it's not growing food, they make us all eat bugs. I mean, there's people now growing fucking lice worms and chopping them up, frying them up, saying, "Oh, I should really this full of protein." How can I fail to see how at 71 someone could ever convince me that eating a fucking maggot is as good as eating a steak. It isn't. I just sit there thinking, are we that gullible? That people are that fucking stupid that they actually believe.
They obviously are, because they get voted Matt Hancock in a series on the television, and the people have got short memories. They seem to forget he was responsible for people not seeing their fucking parents and watched them fucking die behind a glass window.
Well, there you are. I mean, I just give up.
Short memories. A lot of people got short memories until we actually get people with a backbone and start fucking realising that this is an agenda that's not going to end tomorrow.
No, it isn't. In fact, it's going to get increased. It's getting back to what I said about Germany. That there are people now plotting to overthrow the German government. Now, if it's happening in Germany, how many other countries are plotting to do the same thing? Now, we know, everybody sit here week after week saying, let's sweep away. So, to some degree, we're plotting too. I mean, if someone came to me and said to me, would you join in a plot to overthrow the government? You'd have to sit and think about it.
Yeah.
You say, what possible good would it be? And I said, I'm quite happy to join, but what are you replacing it with?
There you go.
Well, we actually went to London last year on the 5th of November, hoping exactly that was going to happen. We didn't go there for a piss up and a party and play some music. We went there hoping change was going to happen, where they were going to actually storm the gates of Westminster and do something about it. They pushed the coffins back up Whitehall. They did a bit of it, but if they'd have fucking done it in a bit more numbers, they could have got into Westminster.
All we need, lads, all we need is to bring this country back to the rule of law. It's saved us so many times. That's it. And all the politicians would then be subject to the rule of law. And what it means is we're all equal. There's no favoritism. There's no, I'm a rich man like Richie Sunak. I can do what I like. No, rule of law means everybody's equal. Politician, road sweeper, toilet cleaner, plumber, carpenter, chauffeur, limousine company owner. We're all fucking equal and all afforded the same respect and rights as everybody else. And that's all we need to return to.
Now, see, I went to Middlesbrough yesterday to support Rangi. Now, he's had an ongoing battle. This goes back to 2014 about his children, about social services, about the corruption in our council right across the country. Now, the council solicitor stood up and he made an absolute fool of himself. He had loads of time to prepare and he was talking like a bloody buffoon and an absolute idiot. He was talking absolute... He'd blown hot steam out of his arse.
Alan, I watched this. I watched it on it. And I watched Rangi giving the interview afterwards. I mean, how can you suddenly turn around and say you've got a case and then try to bring in everybody who's got absolutely no fucking idea? Why bring in the whole of the case? They weren't aware.
Yeah, well said.
He was making it up as he was going along.
This is quite important, Dave, Mikey. This is very, very important. This is just not about Rangi. It's important that the council don't get their way. Nice to try to injunctions on people that they want to shut up for telling the truth. This is what it's more about trying to shut fucking people up. This is what it's about. The council was stepping out of the they forget they're a public service and they're owing to fucking the members of the public, answering to the members of the public. They pay their fucking wages. Now they're trying to shut public members up. Where the fuck have they got their power from?
Well, there you go. There you go.
Well, so this is quite important. This is, and they wanted to stop his ban and saying that he's included in the whole of Middlesbrough. Well, if they're fucking corrupt, he's not telling a lie. He said, "Well, where is incriminated?" And I actually wanted to jump up in court and say, "Well, who's the fucking victim here? Hurty words don't hurt anybody."
The thing is,
no, that's true.
What's this?
No, I'm showing. Hang on. Spear Thrower's having a load of batteries put in. Yeah, a big power. And he's saying he's struggling to get the inverters. These inverters here, which are new on the market, they're SPF 5000s. You can run big voltage power into them. They've got a great internal inverter. But you can put these together and link them up. You can make 15, 20 kilowatts out of these all put together. Wow. They're about £1,000 each. But the point is this. There's a guy on YouTube that said these fitted in his house for over a year. He ain't had a whisper of trouble out of them. They've been working as sweet as a nut. These things here, these Growatt SPF 5000 ESs, Spear Thrower, if you want to get a system where you can get quite a bit of power in there and they work sweet as nut, get the Growatt SPF 5000. Sorry, guys, I had to give him that one.
Yeah, but Dave, this is all that is unnecessary. All what you're doing, what Spear Throwers and everybody else rushing to get all this stuff done, it's all unnecessary. If the fucking government had invested in nuclear power all them years ago, they're running an RO Sizewell C, which has been agreed, but they want someone else to help build it. But they don't mind fucking spending how many £1 million a day.
Michael, you don't need nuclear power stations. That's very last year. You've got a nuclear explosion going on in the sky over your head every single day.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because not everybody's got the space and time to be able to do that. Or capability. They can't do it. And increasingly, the government haven't put solar panels on houses like they should have done.
And well, this is what I said about it. If they had done what they said they were going to do to start off with, right, and put the scheme in right across the country on every household, this country would be exporting electricity to every other. We would be self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Right? But the fucking stuff that falls out of the sky, we call water. We should be self-sufficient. We're a fucking island. Why can't we have salination plants around the country and take water from the fucking sea? I don't know. We're an island, for fuck's sake.
It's too expensive. Oh, that's what it is. It comes down to
Yeah,
being
but Mikey, we're our own worst enemies. There's too many people that have lined their fucking pockets as fucking somebody else to spend.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying what it's always been. Oh, we can't afford it. But they can afford to put up fucking dinghy divers at £5 million a day in over.
There you go.
47,000 of them now. And fucking hell, people. See old ladies. Hang on, Dave. See old ladies sitting in their front rooms sitting in coats and everything else because they can't afford to heat their homes. But these fucking arseholes that come, I'm Albanian, and oh my god, I'm being oppressed. Albania is a safe country. Just put them on a plane and fuck them off back again. I've got no problem with people coming in with a genuine saying, I'm being persecuted where I am. And there are a lot of countries around there that do that. But these people are taking a fucking piss. They want to live in five-star. One sec, they want to live in five-star luxury, but they just lived in a fucking tent for months on the side of some dirty bank, shitting into a pot, right? And then they come there, got their fucking daddy to say this isn't good enough. Well, I'll tell you what ain't fucking good enough. These arseholes taking our fucking good hearts and abuse it and stick it in our face, go fuck you. Well, now let's fuck them and fuck them off out of it. End of.
Right, there's 5 hotels in Skegness, right? Now, you might know, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to educate you now, Mikey. You're an intelligent man. That I learned something today. People are never told the truth. These politicians stand up like they did. The constituency politician for Skegness area stood up in a meeting. There was a public meeting in Skegness last week about the hotels. People were kicking up in arms about 5 hotels. These hoteliers, they've sold themselves to the devil.
Yeah.
This is not for 1 year. They've sold them hotels. All these hotels, you know how long they've been sold for? Or the government contract is for? 10 years.
No.
10 years. The contract's for 10 years. These people are going to be multi-millionaires they sacked all their staff. They got rid of all their staff. They let the Home Office run their hotels and they're making millions out of it. They become multi-millionaires and there was no mention of that by the constituent MP when he was standing up in front of a public meeting. He didn't even tell the truth. He was a typical politician, like you get on Question Time, that they never ever fucking tell the truth. They always hide behind, but we're spending this and we're spending that. We put in this money, we put in that money. Have they bollocks? Where's the £3 million Boris Johnson was going to give to the NHS? They still haven't fucking received it.
Well, hang on. Now, to make it even worse about this country, we're now saying that the number one boy's name in the country is Mohammed, okay? And under 50% of the population are Christians. That is a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie. I mean, when you think there's only, 10 million people in the country, perhaps 12, who are not of our persuasion. And if you take another, say, 15 million who aren't Christians, 20 million, that's only 35 million. But in this country, there's 70 million people, okay? Yeah. 70 million people. Are you going to go up to some fucking raving Irishman who's a Catholic? He's a Christian, but he's still he's a Christian Catholic, okay? And he believes in God and everything else. Are you going to tell me that man's going to stand there and allow some fucking ragged to turn around and say, look, you've got to believe it. You've got to believe into the teachings of Allah, Muhammad, and all that bullshit? No. In Australia, Dan Andrews, who's now just won another election in Victoria, where Melbourne is and everything else. He just won the election and given $500,000 to the Muslim church, okay? Yeah. And he went, and to praise Allah, bless his heart and all this, and he's talking like a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I've got no problem when people want to be Muslim or Jew or anything else. Each to their own. But do not fucking tell me what I can, and don't tell me my country is now becoming a fucking Muslim state, because it ain't. Because if it does come to that, I will fucking pick up an AK-47. I will fucking turn up at fucking Westminster, and I'll start fucking pulling the trigger, because I am not fucking prepared to let my country be sucked in to some fucking state that I was not brought up to be in. I was brought up to be a free Englishman, not a fucking. I've got no grievance against anybody. What I've got a fucking grievance about is people who try to flip their will off on me. And as a free Englishman, you don't fucking do that to me or anybody else. Absolutely
Amen.
wrong. There's no fucking way on the planet that anybody in any part of the world should be told who you can worship and who you can't, what you should do, what you should conduct. As long as you pay your taxes and keep to the law, you should be a free fucking country. And it fucking ain't.
Did you see the select committee meeting regarding the Albanians? And there's a really, really good YouTube video that's put out. I'll put it on my wall about the select committee talking about the Albanians, and the Albanians come to this country, right? And who is and the Albanian government have turned around and completely lied to the back teeth. But not only that, they don't know how many illegal immigrants are in this country. Okay, you've got those who come over in boats. There are people who have come over in other formats of transport, and some have even got onto the beaches and ran away and managed to get away. Yeah. So they don't actually know the total number of people that are in the country.
70 million. It's 70 million plus. 70 million plus.
Yeah, 70 million people in the country, but what I'm saying is about illegals.
About 2 million they don't know about.
That's an army.
We said 2 million.
2 million they don't know about.
Yeah, but if they don't know about 2 million, how do they come to that?
No, because the majority of people that came here, they don't just come over in the last weeks. They've been coming over for years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, you get the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, and they sit there and they're all like this. They're all as cucumbers, right? But the thing with it, and the thing with this is they're not measured. Because, yes, they're in sympathy with these, but where's their sympathy for those people being kicked out of their houses? Where's their sympathy for the homeless? Where's the sympathy for the kids being fucked? Where's the measurement of we're still worthier than now? It's bollocks.
Is this the Archbishop of Canterbury, the leader of the fucking Catholic, the Church of England? Is this the guy who turned around and said during COVID, close all the churches, do not allow people in there, not even to go there and pray? That's the fucking church. That man should be fucking got rid of.
He should be. He should be. So, but my point is, where's the measurement? Where's the rule? Where's the rod? Where's the... Yes, we can have compassion for the Albanians and we can let them in the country, no problem. But I want to see that across the board with regards to people facing eviction, people fucking thinking of having suicide, women being dragged out their houses naked, the homeless, the fucking vulnerable, those that are going without food overnight, those that can't put their fucking central heating boilers on. If he was measured across the board, I'd say fair fucking play. At least he's giving it a level playing field, but he ain't.
Can I just make a point here? That we just had this Kenneth Curran here. He said, you know, it's British Old House. I remember being in Sligo, in a pub in Sligo, years and years ago, and a man walked, a couple of men walked in. As they walked in, God bless the people of this house, you know. And I turned around and I said to my then wife, I said, what's all that about? She said, it's just that's what the Irish people do. They are a fucking godly people, you know. They've got troubles of their own, of course they have, like we all.
Is that Northern Ireland, Mike?
Ireland is a country, you know.
Northern Ireland.
God must have lived in Ireland at some point because it's such a beautiful place.
It is.
Mikey,
I've been
is that Northern Ireland?
Eh? No,
is that
it doesn't matter where. There's no north-south.
No, Sligo. You said Sligo. Is that Northern Ireland?
Oh no, it's up in the northwest of Ireland.
Yeah, that's I know it. I know
it. You come round. You come from Galway.
It's got a big lake, I think.
It's where W.D. Yeats is buried.
Yeah, I know where it is. Yeah.
Innisfree, you know, Lake Isle of Innisfree. It's a beautiful country.
I know.
If God was going to live anywhere, he'd have lived in Ireland. Absolutely.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Have you seen the forced anal swabs they're doing in China? They don't even put a screen up. Really? Really? Anal swabbing? Why would you go for Gary Glitter's fucking back?
No, hang on, Dave. Hang on. They do anal swabbing in in Soho, Dove.
Anyway, that's a chat for another day because I ain't long had my dinner.
And I tell you what they do: no hands.
Yeah, I say I'm going. Yes, but you've got both hands on my shoulders. Fucking hell.
Look at this. Sarah just said. Look, She's bought her 2 young daughters rape alarms. I mean, Sarah, heart, darling, honestly, my heart goes out to you. You know, I've got to tell you this. I've got my daughter's 50. In fact, she's 50 on the 10th. I think it's tomorrow or the day after. I think it's Friday. My daughter's 50. But I've got 2 granddaughters. I've got a granddaughter 22, and I've got a granddaughter who's coming up 15, going on 30. Right? I said to I like you, darling. I would say to them, I would arm them with mace and a weapon, because because I have to say, Jet, if anybody put their hands on one of my fucking granddaughters, I would fucking find them and I would kill them. There was absolutely. Sarah, I mean, I think, and there's not a man on this who may be watching this who wouldn't feel the same about his wife, and any of his family, and anybody you see in the street. I mean, people. I mean, there's video of people, women being grabbed in the street and being assaulted, and men are just fucking walking past them.
Yeah,
what the fuck are these people?
No, it's wrong, mate. It's absolutely wrong. It really is. Spearthrow is saying he's going to play the clip on his show for the anal swabbing in China. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not tuned in to the Spearthrower show behind the curtain, you can tune in on wakeupuk.net, and I'm sure it's going to be a very excellent viewing.
Well, you know, the thing is, I'm just thinking, to bring it back to a lighter note. You know, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there we are. We talk to millions of people out there. We talk to millions of people on a regular basis. I mean, at least 250 anyway. And I mean, why aren't we advertising? Why aren't we going like, "Y fronts are us" or something? These are, in my experience at seminar, these are the best suppositories. All kinds of things like we could be sitting and making food. Not you, Alan, because in fact, we could use you as an example. If you're really ill, look like Alan. I can make you look like me, darling.
You're going in a dick in the grave. I've had a long drive.
But it's true though, isn't it? I mean, if you go on on YouTube now, all these guys, you know, like Dr. Steve and all the guys who I think is brilliant, and some of the other guys, some of them are absolutely hilarious. I mean, have you seen what's his name? This guy McDonald. This guy McDonald? I forget his name. He's a comedian. He's raucous. He's absolutely. They talk about any. He goes on this show talk about any like we do. But he's really disgusting. But they advertise, you know, they make huge amounts. When Jason, you know, bless him, who does all this, you know, and I just upped my. By the way, I just upped. He didn't ask. I used to pay, and I've just given them. I give them more money than they asked for because I'm a nice boy. There you go. So I appreciate this time what Jason does. You know, no, we sit here week after week, but nobody's, you know, like you did at the beginning, like you thank you, Jason, and everything for doing this, and he really is. And Jason's, I've never met him, but you've met him, Dave. But he's, you know, he used to come on at one time all the time on the warm up, and you know, and we used to say hello to him. But I haven't spoken to him for ages. I think he's still in that dark room on his own.
We've got the hang of it now, Michael. We're sorted it.
He's in there with the magazines, I'm sure. Jason, if you're watching,
but Mike, when you're talking about the special measures that the government's trying to put in there, when you're talking about COVID-19, where they tried to change the law, Tony Blair tried to change the Human Rights Act in 1998, stemmed from 1948, and we had a 50-year reign where it wasn't changed. Tony Blair tried to change it, and he couldn't change it. So far, they haven't been able to change it because of their it's like they sign up to so many agreements. Right, we are one of the first people in the world to sign up to all these agreements, and we don't adhere to any of them.
Winston Churchill did this Human Rights Act, and this is the statue they was trying to pull down. He's a colonial. He's all. You get Indians on the ground. He did this. He wasn't interested in the Indians.
Hang on a sec. Human rights only applies to government employees. If you're an employee of Her Majesty's government, they only apply to that. They apply to the fiction. There's 2 of you. There's the government created ID and you. Now, to prove that, my mate has just spoke to the who is it? Land Registry, and he's told them that they've lied to him and he wants his property back. Yeah, and they've shown him the proof and evidence that at Land Registry, your property is registered twice as the man and the fiction, the all caps name and the upper lowercase name. Land Registry have got 2 of you registered on their books. The one in all caps name has to pay all the duties and liabilities and obligations. That's the one but the uppercase, lowercase, man, they can't. Yeah. There's two of you registered at Land Registry. All these truths are now coming out.
Dave, why are you talking about land? And you know me, I'm a very serious person, as you know. I am now a lord.
I know you are. So I've done it about 10 years ago, but go on, I love it.
Yeah, no, that's a queen, Dave. That's something different.
No, I'm not a queen. Not anymore. Okay. I can show you my lordship.
Hang on, I saw you knitting and you're still wearing pink underwear. And,
no, I am.
Yes, you are, yeah.
But only on a Thursday night on the Wake Up UK show.
But now I'm Lord of the Manor of Ugan Manor and up in the Lake District, and I own 5 square feet.
Nice.
Just saying.
That's what you're going to say.
But the trouble is, if you go look through your titles, it's only assigned to you, which means it ain't yours.
Yes.
I've got to say with Kenneth here, you know, that Michael Zario.
When we talk about all the stuff that we cover on these shows, and when you are on one, when Davey's on one, he's absolutely on one. But when we're talking about this agenda that they're on at this moment, it's not going to end tomorrow. It's going to last for a lot longer and a longer time, right? When we're talking about, people didn't even know tonight that this agenda where these hotels have been taken over all over the country. I think last count it was 400 or 500 hotels have been taken over for a 10-year period. That's a long time.
Well, the thing is, I mean, we need to get people in there, and we've got to get rid of the government, and we'll not deal with this. I mean, Suella Braverman...
We've got to get rid of the government. That's the #1 priority. We must get... The Labour government, the two-tier party system, it's never worked in this country.
Keir Starmer? You think Keir Starmer, who wants to go in with the SNP?
Keir Starmer's absolutely arsehole. He let Jimmy Savile go on to have 500 victims. When he had it on
when we talk about politics on this show, we're putting fuel on the fire of the problem. We're not talking about the solution. Politics isn't the solution. Politics is the problem.
There is a solution. There is a solution that you get. We're talking about. Everyone says, "Oh, Tories will rush into this Reform Party." No, they're not. That's all bullshit. I mean, they come about 5th in the Chester election. We know, everybody knows, unless something drastic happens, Labour are going to win, and they're going to be in power the next 10 years, okay? And they are going to decimate this country because Labour hate the fucking English. They hate this country. They hate the United Kingdom. All they want to do is destroy it. They want to rip away everything this country stands for. All this country as everybody in this country who sits there going, who sits there going, well, this country's a load of colonialists. We are a bunch of fucking white supremacists. We are a nasty bunch of people. This country's this. Well, fuck off out of the country and go and live in the places where all these slaves come from and see what you get. Go and stand outside a place like Speaker's Corner and tell all those Muslims down there about Christianity and see what fucking happens to you. Okay? How lucky you are that us as a tolerant society are prepared to sit there and listen to these fucking arseholes telling us what they can and can't do. It's incumbent on us as the British people and mostly the English people to turn around and say to these people, we've had you, mate. We've listened to what you say. Now fuck off out of it. And if this government and successive governments don't want to fuck them off, we fuck them off. We just pick them up.
There's more than just Conservatives, and there's more than just Conservatives from Labour, right? You've got dozens upon dozens of parties out there. You know, if you used to name them, or you see when you get to the election, there's loads and loads of people that you can actually vote for, or you put your X or whatever you want to mark on that piece of paper. But tell us, Dave, what do you think the solution is? Because it's not going to win because they're publicly schooled. Doesn't matter if they're Labour or Conservative.
No, the solution is to bring back everybody to the rule of law and to put Parliament into everyone being an independent. Right. If you've got lawmakers, legislators that come up with 20, 30, 40 of these things every day and there's about 10 million of them, you're in problems. Laws, actual laws, and remember, Parliament, rather than it be legislation, it would be called a law of Parliament and not an act and statute of Parliament. A law should actually take a long time before it's debated, put into place, expressed, and the people have to say, yeah, we fucking agree with that. We should fucking hang nonsense, or we should put them away for a long time and they never come out to play again. But these processes should take such a long period of time, because then it's going to be good law. And that's the thing. You bring everyone in Parliament back to being independent. You get rid of party politics. You stop it being a money changing place, and you go and you get down the street. You bring them all back to the rule of law, and you say, listen, you're back to the rule of law. If you get outside your tree again, you start trying to monopolise and doing all this, you're gone. And then everybody's equal and subject to it. And that's what built this great nation.
Hey, rule of law is all very well and good when it's done properly. But how can it be that my son-in-law gets 26 years for drugs, but a guy who rapes 2 women and beats them to almost the point of life gets 16 years? How does that work for you? How does that? And why is a human right?
You saw the prime example of the American being done with a live video, being today virtually getting a suspended sentence.
There you are. That's in New York, particularly. They just know back. They can do what they like. I mean, they've got people there chucking people on railway lines in front of trains, and they're giving a freebie. We're not going to prosecute this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
so how
look, hang on. Let me answer that question. You've asked. Hang on. You've asked me a question. Let me answer it.
Go on.
You've all remember Alex Belfield, the guy that's been on the thingy, blowing smoke up everyone's arse. Very entertaining. Well, as you all know, Alex Belfield is now in prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's in prison is because you might not get your head around this, but this is a God's honest truth. He put himself in prison because he went in the dock and they said, Mr. Alex Belfield, and he said, yes, I'm here. And they had a trial. So Mr. Alex Belfield is in prison because Alex Belfield agreed to be that party. And that's why all our family members get put into prison, because they don't know who they are. That's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. That's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, but when we talk about going back to Mrs. Davey, when we talk about, where we're born now, the state stills us at birth, and so on and so forth, and to what we come today, like we talk about, I was watching the thing the other day where a guy was filming outside a police station. One of these, these guys go out to police stations, do the filming like AJ, them, and this guy was saying, "Why are you filming my car?" I would have said to him, if I'd have looked, it's not your fucking car in the first place. You're only the registered keeper.
There you go, because we've all been lied to. We've all been lied to. Now, my mate was in prison a couple of years ago, and this nurse, as he's been enrolled into this prison, he's gone in there as an unknown, right? No name, no nothing. This nurse has come in and said to him, right, I need to give you a jab and take a sample of blood. And he said, as cool as a cucumber, no consent is given.
Exactly, the three C's.
She sat there, she thought about it, she put her stuff back in her box, got up and fucked off out the room. Now, that was in a prison. We, unfortunately, we don't realise who we are. Go into a court. Mr. Witcher, yes, you've agreed to be the fiction. Sad but true. These are the true facts. This is what this show's all about. The reason why people like me are coming on here, we want you to know the truth. Yeah. If you turn around and say, no, sorry, no, there's two of us. There's Mr. Witcher, but I'm the setter of that trust. You're going to see the court. Listen, there's a word in law called demeneses. Demesne. It's very used a lot in trust law and all the proper law that goes on. And demens means possession of real property in one's own right. Now, none of us have that. We don't have possession of our property in our own right. We don't have our car in our own right. Why? Because we're not the settler as we should be. Man should be settler of all of his worldly affairs. So the answer to that question, Mike, the reason why Alex Belfield's in prison is because he put himself in there. If he had have agreed to go along with that police in the beginning, hadn't agreed to go to court and gone into that court and said nothing and not to any part of that process, he would be free today. Now, to prove that, a lad in the Truth movement years ago, a Canadian guy, Dean Clifford, very mouthy, very trappy, put in prison quite a few times. They brought him up one day in cuffs, sat him in a court, and it was for something different, another case. He never said a word through that whole thing. He never even lifted a fucking eyebrow. And they found him not guilty. Why? Because he wouldn't participate in their bullshit. And that's how true that is. We participate. Oh, they're going to arrest us. My mate, Laurie, in America, something happened years ago. They raided her trailer. Her husband's on the floor with a gun from a copper pointing his head, screaming and shitting like a baby. She sat on the couch. This copper's pointing a gun at her. She said, you've got two choices. You either pull the fucking trigger or put your fucking gun away. And this copper lowered his arm and had a massive reverence of respect for her after that. If you don't know who you are and you can't stand there and say, who the fuck do you think you are? You ain't fucking got over me. Then you're going to see the system take a different view. They won't mess with you when you stand like that. They won't mess.
Let me say this, David. While you've got the machine in progress, they will try to control us. The machines will always try to control us. And this is not today, tomorrow, next year, next week, whatever. This is for a lot longer. We've already just stated one thing today. A lot of people didn't know that these hoteliers are going to be putting in a 10-year programming. Yeah. Over something like 500 hotels now.
God.
That is a that's a lot of money. We're talking about they're going to put people up that sleeping on the streets, our own people, because of the temperature reaching sub-zero, and yet they're paying something like £7-8 million a day.
It's disgusting.
For these illegal immigrants. I do not work that out at all.
I'm all for fairness. I'm all for a white man being put up. I'm all for a black man. I'm all for a Chinese man being offered the same level of, this is why I talk about the rule of law and bring it so we're all equal. But we're clearly not all equal. We're not. We're not. And people like me are here to try and bring some common sense back to the world and humanity and mankind. That's all.
We've got to break these machines. We've got to pull the plug out of these machines. We have to do something. We've let it go far too long. We're our own worst enemies. Let this happen.
Alan, what's happened since that? Sorry, you know, we know your wife passed away and everything like that. But we were dealing. Me and you were sending this individual from this company from the NHS Trust, and they were coming at you for this and that. Have they left you alone now?
Yeah.
Right. So that proves the point. They come up when Alan's wife passed away. They were giving him grief about they want this, they want that, they want 30 grand. In 4 months, they've all fucked off, and they won't never bother him again. Why? Because he stood in his sovereign fucking truth. That's why, and that's why Alan is now left alone, because they won't mess with people that know who they really, really, truthfully are. And as hard as that is,
I'm not finished with them. I'm not finished with them. I'm not finished with them a long way, because I don't know. People probably don't know. It's been 5 months, as from the 5th. It's now the 8th since he passed. Now we still have not got the coroner back. That tells me there is something fundamentally wrong. I've had every organisation investigated. I've had the in-house teams looking at them in the hospitals, the hospital investigating themselves. I've had the care, the commission. All of these people are looking into this, and it's still not resolved, because at the end of the day, I've told them I am going to hold them to account.
Good.
Just getting back to the point you were making, Dave, about all the illegal immigrants, I think. You have to ask yourself. We all have to ask ourselves a question: why? Why are successive governments allowing this to happen? Why are they encouraging people to come here by saying, "You come here, well, you can stay here because we're not going to throw you out." Because
you've only got to go and read Albert Pike's. You've only got to go and read Albert Pike's predictions.
Right, but he was a Mason.
Yeah, but he was telling you the truth. He was telling you the truth of what their plan was.
What do you think the truth? What do you think?
Total destruction and the rise of Lucifer, Luciferian doctrine. It's worth a read. It's worth a read.
The nation will turn on itself.
Yeah, we already have. We already have, Mike. We already have. We're not turning. We already have.
You know, even get back to Enoch Powell, Rivers of Blood.
Well, just put something in the chat there, and that is most important. What he's just put up there, and there's one person we should all be answering to, and one person only.
God. Don't follow man's doctrine.
It's gone quiet. In fact, I could have opened a packet of crisps then, and it would have been like thunder.
I was looking for the comment. Look, I won't.
You just don't put it in. You ain't got over me. That's it. Like it.
I've got some comments for you, Dave, but I'm not going to put them online.
That's all right, darling. Look, I can be a bit cutthroat with my words sometimes, but I'll only give you the brutal, honest truth. We have to understand who we are. We're in spiritual warfare.
This isn't over yet, David.
Oh no, there's so much more. It's got to get so much worse than this. We ain't seen nothing yet.
No, I haven't.
The words.
You watch how many people die over this winter.
Oh,
not actually die over this winter, right? Do you think these children that are dying now, and the numbers have doubled in a matter of a couple of weeks, right?
No.
Right? This thing that they're getting, do you not think that's related to the injection?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Well,
I mean, my hair's got my luxuriant growth has got thinner since
hang on a minute. I've got to get this out. We're coming up to the end of the show, but I had a live feed the other night with Laura Nina. Now Laura's beautiful. She's fabulous. She gets some great stuff out. We had a woman come on and talk about this thing called methylene blue, which is quite thin because I've got a blue studio. But methylene blue food grade is phenomenal at healing yourself. It goes straight to the center of your blood cell and repairs all the nucleus. It cleans you out, gets rid of infections, gets rid of this and that. If you can go and find the feed on Laura's timeline, you'll see me. I'm just sitting there smiling. But Laura and this woman are doing this interview, and she's saying the studies through methylene blue food grade, by implementing it into your thingy, it's going to give you more energy. It's going to keep you nice and healthy and get rid of cancers and get rid of all the other bits and bobs that you got coming.
Why don't you find out about it and let us know next week?
Yeah, I will. Guys, listen, we've had a fabulous show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've had Alan Merritt's been in the house, and it's beautiful to see him, especially with promoting his new shampoo, Shoulders. And as always, Michael Reynolds, he's gorgeous, Levace yourself. I know many of you at home think he plays a lot of cricket because of the jumpers he wears, but he's very fashionable, very stylish.
I'm a great ball player.
We can imagine.
All of you out there, we love you all. To all the homeless people that are suffering this time here, man, listen, if we ever get back control of this country, you will never, ever be living like that again.
Let me just do a little bit of an advertisement. I'm going to ask Jason if I can do a show. I want to interview a girl called Tony, right? Now, she's going to tell about the corruption in social services. Again, it's coming from Middlesbrough. And she wants to tell her side of the story of what happened to her about her children. I want to know if I can bring her onto a show. Yeah. And if Jason will either give me a time slot and bring her onto a show, and then let me have one night, and then if it goes from there, we'll see what happens.
Bring on here.
Yeah, but I need her to tell her story, Mike. I mean, I love you to pieces, but I want it to be about Tony and Tony's story, and tell her a different story, a different perspective, somebody else speaking about the corruption that is rife in this country today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, but the thing is, while what you say, but you want to be able to throw answers out. People on here are going to want to throw questions, and we're going to have to rather just a lot of what we see, like we said, just what we will survive. A lot of what we see, we don't acknowledge, and even though I do read them, and some make me laugh, some I think about. I mean, are you saying that she needs a whole couple of hours just to talk about herself? Or is she prepared to come and give us an outline of what's going on, and we can answer the questions about it? And people on here.
At the end of the day, again, I've got to turn around and put that to you two and to Dave as well, because at the end of the day, it's Dave's. Your show. At the end of the day, Dave puts his name to the show.
Well, you
It's
know,
fine.
well,
It's all good. I'm up for that. I want truth to be truth. I want it to be out there.
Well,
I
if
want
you
people
let me do that, we'll work something out. I'll give you a phone call. I'll arrange for Tony when she can come on. It'll be
Yeah.
one night, which is good for us because the children are in bed at that time.
before we all go, Merrick, yeah, you
Go
think
on.
you're weaseling out of pie and mash? You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm down south. I'm down
You
south over
nasty little
Timbo.
shit. You have wheedled your way out of pie
No,
and
yes.
mash.
Negative.
It's-
I'm down.
It's
I'm
our
down
treat.
for
It's
Christmas.
our treat
I'm
next
down
time
at Christmas
anyway,
to
Al.
buy you pie and mash.
No, it's our treat next
No,
time.
no,
You
no,
ain't
no,
saying.
no, it's not. Not with a haircut like that.
Oh, you've got to let that. Look, I keep telling you, I washed it and it fucked off.
Your problem is you don't put liquor on your pie and mash. That's why you lost your hair. But yes,
Yeah,
so
actually.
it doesn't
Ladies
matter.
and gentlemen, I'm
It was
off.
probably
I
the
wanna
vinegar,
say-
Mike.
Hang
All
on,
right.
let's get some order. Alan, thanks for joining in. Michael,
No
beautiful
problem, bro.
show, mate. Thanks, mate. Really love you. To everyone out there in the world, internet, wherever you are, TikToking, whether you're Facebooking, whether you're YouTubing, whatever it is you're doing fabulous work. And remember, your values, your morals, your views, it all counts. And just by cracking your comments out there, you're going to inspire other people to come along and join us all. And let me tell you, we are starting to win this war.
Before you go,
Yes, Sarah. Sarah's put a comment in. We will survive.
before you go, can I just say to you from me, you know, you make this show worthwhile. You really
We
do.
try, mate. We can but try.
You do, because people believe in you, Dave. You know, you've got a
Love you too, mate.
You're a good man. And
We
Alan,
try.
As well, Mike.
you're not. You're horrible.
Oh, thank you, bitch.
See you later. Bye.
Yo, microphone check, make it a microphone check. Give it a microphone, I make it a microphone dead. Don't step to me, newbie, I could truly be moody. I could have played the fucking Grinch in the movies. I've been a part-time shadow cat, part-time. That is not a guy that I would ever want to try to battle rap. Snap, crackle, pop, mind fried to a crisp. Make an MC into a wide-eyed lunatic. Yo, give it a stage in a minute, I'ma eat you. El professor is in the house, let me teach you. I could defeat you with two hands tied and have you waking in the hospital like, who am I? And who are you? Who are they? What is this? You wouldn't believe how someone react to this shit. The mind slip, and speaking in tongues. Fly ink, GVA, that's how we get it done. 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 Sly ink, GVA, that's how we get it done. They claim to be who they ain't. Try to knock my hustle, they can't. I pull this burner out of my pain. Chop him up where he stands. They claim to be who they ain't. Try to knock my hustle, they can't. I pull this burner out of my pain. They claim to be who they ain't. Chop him up. Chop him up where he stands.
Switch it up.
Chop him up where he stays. Okay. 100 pounds, we just break them down. Take a couple phone calls, they gon' make them round. Let's make it show that everybody eat. So in the end, I'm making ends on everybody's street. I'm in the trenches with a dope in. I'm circulating, pumping coke until they both in. The kid that started with 100 grams. Now he can turn a full slab into 100 grand. They claim to be who they ain't. Try to knock my hustle, they can't.